everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fourtress of, a podcast about movies and TV shows and video games and lots of pop culture nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today, and with me, per usual, are two of your other hosts. We got Brian and Devin in the house today.
Hello.
Sup?
Hello, everyone.
It gets worse every time. Every time we introduce ourselves, it gets a little worse.
I go between that and yo.
Yo, it's your boy.
I am very tired. It's been a long day, but gotta try to keep the energy going.
Hell yeah, we got this,
It's been a
boys.
long weekend. It's been
Yes.
a disappointing weekend.
Remember, listeners, if you want to jump to any section or segment or avoid spoilers or anything like that, check all the time codes and all that stuff down in those little show notes and everything. But with that, shall we move into our first segment of the week?
Mm-hmm.
News talk.
So first piece of news this week, Stranger Things 4, Volume 2, which is coming out like in a week, got a trailer, and surprise, they put that Kate Bush song in there.
I think the worst thing about it is they recut this 100%. So someone did all that work
1,000%.
and then had to go back and do it again because of this.
Yeah.
I think it's
For
fucking
sure.
hilarious. I think it's spoilers, I guess, for the first volume of Stranger Things 4 and anything Stranger Things before that when we look at this. But yeah, I know. I think it's fucking hilarious. Absolutely. I was like, if that song didn't blow up, this trailer would not have its song in it.
Absolutely not. But it was a good idea. I'm glad they did it.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of things that I liked. My favorite part of the trailer besides that song, I was talking to Jackie about it, and she asked me, did you see this? And before she could even finish, I was like, is it Lucas beating the shit out of the bully? Because that's my favorite part of that trailer.
It's all I wanted to see ever.
Lucas gets his own boss fight. I'm into it.
Because honestly, that guy's a shithead, and he deserves it. So I'm glad he's finally getting it. Because that's a weird storyline that was kind of going places, then it seemed like it fell off at the end. Because, I mean, who cares about this guy when there's a nasty pussy monster ready to fuck everybody up?
Right.
But, yeah, I
Well,
really
no, I
hate his
think
storyline. I want him to get beat up.
You're talking about the basketball player, right?
The one that's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna avenge my girlfriend that I didn't really like
Fake
that
Billy
much.
or whatever his name
Yeah.
is.
Right. But that's part of I think that's cool that they threw that in there because it's part of the satanic panic, right? It's like
Oh, yeah,
a
absolutely.
throwback to that really happened. So I think that's kind
I
of
just
a cool thing. But
I just hate the trope of school bully, and maybe it's just a biased thing of
Yeah.
being triggered because I was bullied when I was a kid. So it's just like and I
Right.
handled it the way that Lucas did. I beat up my bully. So
Or just like when in movies when they're like very over the top bullies, like in Stranger Things, those like Els bullies, like holy fuck, those people are psychopaths.
Yo,
Yeah,
literal
yeah.
sociopaths. What's wrong with you kids?
They're prison bullies. Like, this is
And
ridiculous.
then she hits her, and then everyone's mad about it. That. Made me so fucking mad. Like, oh my god, you hit her? Yes, she sucks.
I
Like,
do wonder if we'll see her come back in these last two
I hope her
episodes.
nose is broken in every scene that she's in.
Now, okay, question. Did this trailer make you change your prediction on who's going to die?
You think someone's gonna die?
Uh,
I think if anyone's gonna be Hopper, and I always thought that, so that didn't really
Ooh.
change for me.
I don't think it's gonna be Hopper. They faked his death last
Yeah, they
season.
kinda
I don't
already
think they're
did
gonna
that.
actually do
But
it
I feel like it's
now.
got to be a sacrifice. I feel like the kids can't die.
I
No,
think
I think
the
it's
kids
gonna
could
be-
die.
I think it's going to be like Nancy because of how they're hyping up like her and
I still think Nancy's on the chopping block. But
Interesting.
I'm
I would say
gonna be real
Steve.
upset if fucking Robin dies. I'm gonna be real fucking upset.
Ooh, that would not be a bad idea, actually, because I do think that she is away enough from the main cast that it's fine, but like too
But
good.
super
it feels,
lovable that you'll
Yeah.
still be upset.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I think it would be that or Steve. If any one of the children would die, I think it'd have to be the older ones, and I don't think it could be
Yeah.
like Dustin or something like that. I
Right,
think
I don't
Steve would
know.
probably make the most sacrifice. That would make the most sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we see they're going to battle. Like, they're like arming themselves with like trash can lids and as shields
Mhm.
and like dumbass weapons. Eddie's, which was my other part of the trailer that I noticed. Eddie's gonna 100%. I think Eddie could die, being the distraction because he's literally standing on like a bus playing guitar, and like we've
Right,
known that
right.
music is very much an element to stop Vecna in some way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So maybe that's Eddie's sacrifice or
And-
something. I don't know.
He already said he's like a coward.
I love the fact that Eddie is British as hell in real life because
Oh,
I had
yeah.
no idea.
Yeah. I think I don't know, man. Eddie, Nancy, maybe Scott, Steve. Is it Scott? It's Scott.
Who the fuck is Scott? Steve?
Scott,
It's Steve.
Steve,
Steve.
All right,
yeah,
cut that.
Steve,
Okay, maybe
the
The
guy
one
that's
that looks
been
like
in the
Finn
show
Shorts?
for
I know it's an
like
S.
one of the most
It's a-
popular people. Who's that guy again?
It's a
Like a
white
Scott
S name.
Jeff.
I don't know, man. Listen, I watched this like 2-3 weeks ago, and it's already like the name's faded.
It's gone. It's out of
But
there.
yeah, I mean, I think it could be him. because of that rekindling of that romance, but I don't know.
Yeah, it
I
can't be.
think it's one
I
of
don't
one
know.
of those crew. I don't think it'll be any of like Dustin or Mike. I wish it would be Mike.
I would wish it would be Mike too.
He kind of sucks.
L can do so much better than fucking skinny ass Mike, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I will not. Like, it got me hyped. I'm so excited for this coming weekend when that drops, man.
Was it just 2 episodes? I say just like they're not
Just 2.
3 hours long each.
2 movies,
Right,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah, 2 movies.
Mhm.
But
Exciting.
yeah. All right. Next piece of news. Because we live in a world that sucks. And because it is related in the way that gaming companies and a lot of other companies have come out and spoken about the overturning of Roe v. Wade, which most people, I would assume, know at this point. It sucks. And so, yeah, a lot of people are talking about. It's just a big sigh. It really
it's
fucking sucks.
sad how many human rights have been lost in the past 10 days, I suppose, and it's
Mhm.
really detrimental to humans. And
I mean, everyone knew it was coming at this
right,
point,
and it still sucks.
but it's still.
This
Yeah.
is entertainment news because we're in the prequel series to Handmaid's Tale. So
Oh no, and we have been for some time. But gaming companies, they came up. Gaming companies, media companies, they stepped up to the block. They made a huge stance, and they said, "You know what? We're against this. We hate that this happened. If anyone needs any protections for healthcare stuff, we will pay for it. It's going to be great. You still only get 3 weeks of maternity leave."
Look, yeah.
Because once
It
again,
sucks. I mean, it's hard to to distinguish between the companies that actually mean it and the ones that are just following a trend or
Mhm.
know that it's like, oh, we probably should do this so that we don't look like scums of the
I
earth.
was about to say, and you can tell that pretty easily. Just look at how much each CEO makes of each company. If it's over
Yeah.
$1 million, they are doing it for face value. It's wokenomics.
Yeah, it's
That's a good
sucks.
rule to operate under. Just look at the CEO's salary.
Look at the CEO's salary. What
Yeah.
was his bonus last year? $300 million. He's doing it to look a little bit better in the eyes of the community.
I mean,
That's
like,
what's
I think
happening
on
there.
this issue, though, maybe we can take them at face value because, like, the only people that really are on the wrong side of this are like not in game companies. Like it's like who's actually
Right.
sitting? What CEO is sitting there at game company? Like, yes, like Roe v. Wade's overturned. Like,
I mean, yes and no, but also those people usually put a lot of money into the pockets of the people that do vote this way. That's kind of the
True.
purpose around it. I mean, you can talk
Mhm.
all you want about how, they're donating so much to, being against, we're fine with LGBTQ community, but then they're like sending kids to gay camp and stuff. So it's like, it's all theatrics is what it comes down to.
Mhm.
Coca-Cola is a great example of that. How they, they give money to cleaning the ocean floor, yet they're also the biggest polluter of the ocean themselves. It's almost
Yeah.
comical how these companies work when it comes down to these things. So
I mean,
Yeah.
I hope that. I mean, a lot of them are saying like we'll pay people for if they have to travel out of state to do their business or whatever. Like, I hope they stick to that, and I hope
absolutely.
that it's
And
forever, or at least
right.
until this shit like corrects itself.
And maybe I'm
Not corrects
cynical,
itself, but like yeah.
but it's one of those things where it's kind of like, yeah, you're giving the softball approach to it of like, of course we're going to take this stance because that's what the people want to hear. But at the same time, we
Yeah.
want to talk about things like, what does a maternity leave look like at your company? What do
Right.
what kind of protections do you have for people that bear children in your company? Do you
Mhm.
have protections for them? Is there maternity leave? Is it good? Is there paternity leave for
Is
fathers?
there just for both? Yeah.
How's your daycare? Do you pay for people's out of like network daycare stuff, that kind of
Right.
stuff? You can talk all
Right.
you want about how we'll make sure we'll ship you over to somewhere where you can do what you need to do. But what about everything else that has to do with children outside of that? And that's kind of the whole issue with Roe v. Wade. It's like we say we want to protect unborn children, whatever, but then there's no protections for children as soon as they leave the womb.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
wrong in itself. So it just feels like another one of those things of like, are you really trying to, like, even if you're on the right side of history, are you still really trying to help?
Mhm.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I
Ugh.
mean,
We all got to vote.
keep badgering these people, man.
We're in a weird place. Protests have been happening in my city. Please vote.
Yeah.
Do what you
Vote,
can.
vote,
And
vote.
please write your
Vote, vote,
legislation. People need to be as angry about this as they claim to be.
And if you don't like that we went political, fuck off.
Yes,
Shut up. I don't care.
we're mostly a group of people of color, and I think that means a lot for us when it comes down to politics and stuff.
Just like decent human beings, for Christ's sake.
Right. So that's my big takeaway from it. 2022 elections are coming up. A lot of seats are up for grabs, and it's looking a little scary.
Yeah. If you don't want to live out The Handmaid's Tale in real life, fucking vote.
Yes.
Yeah, for the love of God. I don't care if you actually like that show. You don't want to live in that show.
Listen, my issue with that show is there's too many white people.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So shall we move on to our main topic of the week?
You know what? No, we should.
Oh boy.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Well, we're going to anyways, Brian, because we got to move on. But this week we're trapped in another fortress. This fortress is full of 20 years of nostalgia, some would say, and you know, a man with a pretty goofy name, which we'll talk about, and but it's got a great look. So let's just get into it because we're in the fortress of.
Hello there.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hello there.
Yes.
Oh. General
Yes,
Kenobi.
listeners. So we are finally coming around to talk about the Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Disney Plus series. This isn't our second attempt at doing this. This will inherently be just as funny as the first time we tried to do this. This is not like a redo or anything like that.
First try.
But it doesn't matter.
Every time.
Because Alex is here now, so it's
I'm
full
here.
of fresh takes.
The Force has
Fresh
called
takes.
me, and I have appeared.
Alex has appeared in front of us as a Force ghost because he needed to be here now. So yeah, let's spoiler without no spoilers real quick. I surprise really enjoyed the shit out of this show. I see its flaws and I don't like a lot of some of those flaws, but overall,
I feel like it's the critics are controversial. Like the like every review
It's a
I've
lot of
seen
back and
is like
forth.
hit and
Really?
miss. Yeah,
I actually haven't read any of the reviews for
Yeah.
the first time because I had a pretty
That's
solid
nice.
opinion on how I felt about it.
yeah. But I mean, yes, it's also like that nostalgia of the prequels are kind of our Star Wars. That was the era that we grew up in. So, and Ewan McGregor being the best part of those, I was so excited to hear this ever since it was going to be a movie, which I still think it should be, which we'll talk about at the end probably. So I was super jazzed to watch this. When it premiered early that midnight, I watched both episodes. I was so excited. And so by the end of it, he's what holds the show together. And no spoilers, some other characters. But so yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it and gave me it gave me some of the Star Wars highest highs, even though it may have given it some of its lowest lows as well at times. But the highs were more
I
than
wouldn't
enough
say
for me,
lowest
so.
lows. Jar Jar Binks still exists. Let's not play
It's
games.
true. Like, yeah, no, that was probably too harsh.
Yeah, nothing was that low.
We got
Nothing
some
was
pretty
that
No.
low lows.
No,
Yeah.
none of the lows in this to me were as low as Boba Fett's lows. I'll
Oof.
say that.
Yeah, for
Ooh,
sure.
that's
For
fair.
sure.
That's fair.
Second to Mandalorian.
To kind of be not necessarily the opposite of Oscar, but I felt pretty mediocre towards this show. I was whelmed, not overwhelmed. It wasn't the worst
Just
thing I've ever
whelmed.
seen by far, but it also just I don't know. One of the big things that comes to when we're doing stories that are doing more with characters that we know and have already part of a story that exists. A big question I ask myself is this a story worth telling? Is there something to say here? And I felt like through a lot of this series, no, I don't think much was really said. It just kind of felt more like it was a show based around how can we get these characters together to show cool moments, and not so much how can we tell a
Mhm.
compelling story in between. We know what happens after this. We know what happened before it. Is there
Mhm.
anything new? Yes, kind of, but also in a lot of ways it felt like no. So I give it like a solid 6.5. It was fun.
Damn.
Back to the world that I enjoyed.
You know, I to hop on that, I honestly don't disagree with a lot of that. It feel like you didn't need this show. Like it's not saying anything new. The stakes weren't honestly that high. Like we know no one in here is
Yeah.
gonna die. Like only the new characters that they were introducing were at risk of dying, and it didn't make us care too deeply about many of them. So I had a lot of fun watching it. It was definitely not the best like acting or writing on most participants' parts, but I enjoyed all the characters. I enjoyed watching it every week. I was excited to see what was going to happen next. It just felt like a fun, silly, campy, not super deep or dynamic TV show, and
That sounds like Star Wars.
And
Crazy
that's
enough.
And that's kind of the thing that I do have to remind
that's the
myself
show.
about. I think
That's Star
Mandalorian maybe
Wars.
gave me an unrealistic vision of what Star Wars
Mm.
should be.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, Mandalorian is still like the best Star Wars TV show. But even that, like we talked so much about how like ridiculously campy it feels like it's a video game, the TV show,
Right.
where they're like literally saying, "I'm going on a quest, and I have to.
He's got a side quest.
I
yeah.
have a side quest now before I go back to the main
that
plot."
man does have a whole quest log for sure.
Yeah, and this felt similar to that, like campiness and cheesiness, but it was really fun and nostalgic to see Ian McGregor and just a lot of the same like characters that we grew up with. Like every time that Vader was on screen, I'll be honest, those were like my favorites. I feel like Vader was done super well. I have a lot of issues with some of the plot things, but at the same time, like I don't really care. I had fun watching it. I give it like a 7. It's not the best thing out there, but I had a lot of fun watching it.
I mean, yeah, for me, it kind of a similar thing. Like it was fun, could have been better, could have been way worse. But I think the whole thing of this show, the reason they made this show, and maybe it could have been a movie too, was just like they were sitting around at Disney HQ and they're like, could we get Ewan McGregor and like could we get Hayden Christensen to come back to just like do
I would
do a
love
little bit
to be
more?
in
And they're
those
like,
early meetings when they're just trying to get this off the ground.
yeah, and it's like, I don't know, let's call them up and see if they're down for it. It's like, oh, they're down. It's like, well, fuck, now we got to do something. So I think that's kind of what this show was. It's just kind of to get us excited to like see them in those characters again. You know where all those characters started from. You know where they're all going to end up by the end of this. So it's like, it was kind of cool thing. I loved the premise, like starting out in the first 2 episodes. Loved that premise of like, of course this would have happened at some point, right? Like, loved that it was that focused on there. But I think for me, it started off really strong. And then there was like that precise moment in the middle of episode 3. And then after that, it was kind of like a little downhill and just like kind of start questioning some of the characters' logic and like what they're doing and stuff. But it's Star Wars. So, you know, I guess I'll give them a pass for now. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun
They
with
get
it.
a lot of passes.
They do.
They're putting a Jedi mind trick on all of us.
Yeah. All right. So with that, let's jump into spoilers. So spoilers from here, listeners, including like most all Star Wars properties in the universe. There'll be spoilers for a lot of shit, most likely. So just be aware. Yeah, like Devin was saying, let's just get off of that. I fucking loved that this was a Leia story because it's so
Yeah.
obvious that could be it, and no one thought of it. Like I didn't hear any rumblings about this, and it was like just so blatant in your face. Like, of course it is. It makes so much fucking sense.
Yeah,
and
we were
I love
talking
that.
so many times. Like, I wonder what like he can't just be on Tatooine. Like, there's so many colors in the
Right.
trailers. Like, where is he going, and why is he not watching Luke?
Right.
Which was good.
Yeah.
It was great. We get a whole 3 episodes of Luke's dumb face, Big Chad energy. And Leia doesn't really get that crazy amount of a story, but it kind of really reinforced her I'm not a damsel kind of character, and see how she's always been a sassy kid from birth.
Right.
And we talked about that last time about how it gets to give us more information on Leia and Obi-Wan's kind of connection and
Yeah.
why she would do the thing that she did in the forthcoming movies
It makes
afterwards.
sense why she calls him for help in A New Hope. Like
Right.
they established that even more, and I was like, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the continuity things that they got right here to
Yeah.
make up for all the ones they
Even
did.
though like some people will still complain that it's too much, so it doesn't matter.
I'll take that
I
one.
think
That's a
I
good
think
one.
they kind of fixed it by the end when they were like, well, you know, we have to keep this a secret. Like, don't tell anybody. Like, we had this huge adventure, or else like we could be at
Right,
risk. So,
right.
like, next time you call me, like, pretend we don't know each other.
Think is her whole ass holster.
Yeah, that was super cute. I think she was one of my favorite parts. Like her and
Yes.
Vader were like super cool. She was like such a cute little actor kid.
She's amazing in this, man.
yeah, she
like,
was- she was
she's
great.
not 10, but I don't care.
Yeah, she's probably
great.
she's closer to 5 than 10, but like I don't like yeah. Her action sequences were a little bit weird. Like it felt like super
Ooh.
stiff, like she was wearing a diaper or something. Something about her running just didn't look like a normal. For
I
some
mean, that
reason,
whole
but-
chase sequence, even the adults were
Yeah,
bad in
oh
that
my
chase
God.
Because they're
sequence.
like, oh no, a tree is in front of me. Like, oh, darn.
Yeah,
I felt like watching an episode of Dora the Explorer when they just say like swipe or no swiping, and then like Swiper's like, you got me.
Oh,
Like
man.
you told me not to steal anything, so I guess I can't steal
Like
anything.
even Obi-Wan in that second episode can't catch her running through that city. It's like, Obi-Wan, she's 10. What are you doing?
She's 3 foot nothing, waddling her way in her diaper around. You can't catch that girl.
Oh my God.
She dodging these people like a fucking Prince of Persia or some shit, man. Like, what is happening?
Going back to that chase scene with her kind of bothers me so much because it feels like it's so like childish, like Home Alone kind of situation where it's like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
we can't get her, dag nabbit, but then they shoot somebody and they kill them. in the same
Right.
sequence.
They have a
And I'm
guns.
like, you can't chase a girl behind a bush, but you will shoot a man?
Oh, I love that shot. Like when one of them like gets caught behind that bush and he's like trying to look for a way around. It's like you're in the forest, dude. Like just go around the tree.
All right.
You can walk through the bush, dude. You're 6 feet.
I
Step
know.
over
Right.
it, you weirdo.
He's like, nah, there's thorns in that. I don't. No, I don't
Owie,
want.
no.
No thanks.
Oh, it was so funny. I
And then
love
that power
scene.
slide. It was one of those things where it's like some of the stuff felt like I don't know if
I
this
love
show
the
was
power
rushed
slide.
or what kind of happened with the show and it's like in its creation, but it was like, yeah, she didn't do a very good slide because she's a child. No, they didn't do a very good job of pretending to like chase her, but then also they cut it so like they showed way too much of that scene
Yeah,
that would have made
there's
it
a
look
little
maybe a
bit
little
too
more
many
frantic.
wide shots in that whole
Mhm.
thing.
Right. So it's like they show that slide. They show that very obviously was 1 foot slide, power slide. She went nowhere. And they just kept that in and they didn't try to cut it to make it look like, oh, well, we shoot it from a different angle and now it looks like she went further. They didn't try that. Like, what are you doing? Is this amateur hour on the
They
set?
they
What's
they
happening?
like constantly cut to
It
the
was
wide to
goofy.
reveal how bad of a stunt it was. Every corridor she turned, every tree she jumped over.
And this happens a few times where there's times where it's like there's things that you can get over and get around, but then they show that it's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
easy for them to do it. And it's like, why did
Yeah.
you show me that?
And I think like that kind of goes into one of the points for me that I don't like and still wish why I wish this most and with most of the Star Wars shows, I wish it was a movie, not a TV show, just because we talked about it. The budget. It's like they have Disney money, but it's still not movie money. And it's annoying
Yeah.
because like you get scenes that are like, this still looks like the volume, especially on Tatooine. This still looks like it looks better than Boba Fett. I'll give it that. But
Aw.
there's even like some of the effects like early on in the first episode where they're chasing that Jedi that goes to Ben for help. And he just like force pulls like some rooftop down. I was like, this looks like a Universal Studios, right?
Yeah,
And
it did look like an
it
amusement
just
park.
looks like a weird backlot. And it's like those are the little things that annoy
I
me.
feel like that part I'll allow it because it felt like makeshift and like fake, but it was supposed to be makeshift and fake. So I feel like it was just like us as good like viewers being like, oh, this is not real, and it wasn't real.
Right.
Mhm.
I think what's jarring about this compared to like Mandalorian stuff like this is like this is Star Wars. This is the Star Wars that we know. Star Wars is very campy and a little goofy, and some of the effects look pretty stupid, almost purposefully, except for the newest sequels, of course. But like the Star Wars that we know, the original, and then of course the prequels. Um, and then we got Mandalorian, which felt just so much more finished, I guess,
Mhm.
more polished.
Mm.
So then we're going
Yeah.
back to what we know, but now it feels goofy because we've seen the Mandalorian and we've seen what like really good effects can look like, even though there's been some things in
Yeah.
that show as well. But I think it felt less so than this one. Like I didn't notice sets as badly as I did in this. I did in Boba Fett, of course, but that was a different issue altogether. But
I
Yeah.
feel like I think they've changed something since Mando for money. I feel like they've relied too much and on they've altered something in the volume where it's not as good. I don't know why. Something has changed and I
Right.
don't know. But like also like even this as far as like effects goes, I still don't think the lightsabers they've done something different to those as well. Whereas like mostly like the
Yeah.
green and the blue ones, I don't mind that they're bright. That's fine. And that's not what bothers me. What bothers me is that a lot in some of the scenes, and this even goes back to Mando season 2 when spoilers, Luke shows up. His lightsaber sometimes just looks like a big stick. It's like you can see
Mhm.
the prop stick underneath the effect, and
Oh,
it looks
interesting.
weird.
Huh.
And
I don't know how.
and
Yeah,
that was the thing. Is like maybe this is just them trying to maybe go more towards like practical effect that's been happening. Because yeah, they definitely was a very wide shift in what happened with the lightsabers, and like glow for me was one of the problems. That these shits are bright as fuck, which I guess they would be. It makes sense, but it just doesn't look like the lightsaber
Mhm.
that I'm used to.
Yeah.
Um,
right.
especially the
Yeah.
ones that were in that same world of Anakin and
Yeah.
Obi-Wan and stuff. And it's like, oh damn, like why is it so damn blue?
I mean, it also kind of goes to like as technology advances, like the creators get to kind of show what they imagined it would. Because, like, let's be honest, that Obi-Wan Darth Vader fight in A New Hope should not look like that. Like in the character's eyes, that fight doesn't look like two old men swinging sticks at each other. It looks like that YouTube video you find online of that badass fight that someone made.
Right.
That's what those characters are actually saying. But as us in the 70s, that's all they could do. So it's like I'm
Mhm.
okay if like force powers and choreography advances, even though it's not quite what you know, because it's like these characters, they're bigger than that, and like they're things that maybe we just I don't know,
I'm
you know
telling
what
you.
I'm saying, type of thing.
They went to Disney World. They took a quick trip. They did the little experience in Star Wars Galaxies. Built their little lightsaber. and they juiced it up a little bit, and that's what they use to fight these battles. I'm pretty sure you can get Obi-Wan's lightsaber there.
I actually
$100. Go for it.
saw behind the scenes on YouTube from back before episode 1, I guess, when Ian McGregor was like hanging out with the art production people, and they're like, okay, you get to like help design and pick out pieces for your new lightsaber, and he was like in like the warehouse, is like, ooh, like this one's really cool, like, do you think we could like add this button and on this hilt and like make it like have these effects? And I'm like, yeah, we can do that for you. And he just had like the biggest grin on his face. He looked like
that sounds
a
awesome.
little kid at Disneyland. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I was
That
gonna
is
say
funny.
another random fact was back in that original fight between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan in the original trilogy. What happened wasn't the reason that was such a stiff fight was because they kept breaking the lightsabers. They didn't know how to make them yet, so they're just made out of literally
Right.
sticks put together, and they kept falling apart. So they're like, you can't hit, don't touch, you can't touch them because you will break them.
That makes a lot of sense.
So that was one
I
of the
think
reasons why those
I
fights
think
were
it's
so.
pretty well known fact that whole production was basically a shit show. Like it was just like disaster after disaster. Apparently the whole thing was saved in the edit room. Like the rough cut was just garbage.
You were
And
trying to make
Right.
a sci-fi
Dang.
movie in the 70s. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Obi-Wan, I just want to say, great look. Ewan McGregor's never looked better. He does not look like he's gonna age 100 years in those 9 years till
Telling
A
you,
New
man.
Hope. But I'm totally fine with it. I'm totally okay with it.
all that
Did
red
y'all-
sand that he's got access to, man, maybe it just turns him into a rough dude.
Did you notice how he talked a little bit more like Alec McGuinness in this whole series? Like I think he moved
Yeah.
very like in Revenge of the Sith and the prequels, he's very much his own Obi-Wan. But I think in this, he was maybe trying to do a little bit more towards the kind of mystical wizard kind of voice, because he was talking
Yeah.
a little slower and a little bit just more
It's definitely slow.
like, I don't know, just a little bit more methodical in how he was speaking. At least that I picked that
he
up. I don't know
scratches
if
his
that's-
beard a lot more often. I appreciate.
That's interesting. That probably was an editor note. I wonder who came up with that to kind of see if they can make a better segue between the characters.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he's slowing down. He's less active nowadays, you know? He doesn't flex he doesn't work out the force pulls every day.
So
he had to
that's
kinda
one
get
thing.
that
I was
back.
pretty shocked when I didn't know exactly what to expect when watching this, but the first episode when you're like, oh, this Obi-Wan is like old, disheveled, like he's not tapped into the
Right.
Force. He's not very
He's been 10 years out of the
strong in
Force. Yeah.
He's working at the Force version of McDonald's.
Yeah, he has left the building.
Which I appreciated. I at that point you can kind of see the structure of the show where it's like, especially when you get Vader round 1, which I was genuinely surprised by. I thought they would save that to the end, but I was like, oh, we're gonna get a round 1 where obviously he'll get his ass kicked and then he's got to get his mojo back and then he'll be the ass kicker. You're like, that's the
Yeah.
traditional trajectory that you'd see it coming. But it was still awesome. I still was super into it. But I was great to see Jimmy Smits and Alderaan. I just need to point that out. Also, her cousin's an asshole, but it doesn't matter because they're all going to explode in 9 years. And they're all going to be dead.
Karma's a bitch. Got him. Who's the real Organa now? Not you. You're dead.
Ooh,
Damn.
rough.
Oh,
rough.
it's terrible.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen this planet, right? Ever.
Like on
Yeah.
the surface, yeah,
Mhm.
which
yeah,
is pretty
the
cool.
surface.
Except for the KOTOR cinematic trailers. #respect.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, well,
No.
That's Teal Sean. All right.
I didn't realize that. To me, it looked a lot like maybe because I just finished watching this, The Legend of Korra, that like Metal Earth City Kingdom.
Mhm.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like
Oh,
the,
yeah,
it
a
was
little
like the
bit, yeah.
city of the Earth Kingdom, but where like all the metal benders like to hang out.
It's very much one of the prettiest places, other than I guess Naboo.
Mm.
Naboo just seems like a dirty, gross planet. Like it's all swamp and gross. I
Until
don't
it's
know.
not. It's either swamp or it's rich, which is kind of like a lot of the country.
Right.
Oh, South Africa.
I mean, it's better than Kashyyyk, where planet's Dagobah that Yoda's on later on,
Oh,
which is
God,
literally
that's
just
literally
swamp.
just swamp.
Yeah, there ain't nothing going on there.
True. That's just Alderaan, just a very pretty planet for the Star Wars standard. Thank God we got away from some sand.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, thank God we got off Tatooine and Obi-Wan
Yeah.
being a poor old dude. But that second planet, there was episode with the whole fucking Blade Runner city. I was still into it with the weird Breaking Bad meth lab and him saving her. I'm so surprised that they didn't write him saying, I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm here to rescue you. He says, I'm here to help you. I was like, how badly do you think they wanted to make him say that in
That's
that
funny.
moment?
It seemed like they saved all those nostalgic lines for the very, very last episode. They
Right.
threw literally
Yeah.
all of them. They couldn't give it to us too soon.
Yeah.
Or like he goes in the cell to rescue her, and she turns up and she's like, "You're a little small to be a meth dealer, aren't you?" Like, nice.
We should probably spend a bit of time talking about the Inquisitor woman. Is she
Reva?
What is she?
Reva.
Reva. She what is she? The fifth sister? The
Third sister.
A
I believe.
third sister.
third sister. I
Yeah.
honestly really liked her, but my
Mhm.
least favorite scene of the whole thing is probably when she's parkouring around the cityscape. I just did not understand why she needed to be doing backflips and stuff.
But she's
She
a cool
was going
force
some
user.
unnecessary ass flips. She was going in directions that did not make
Every
sense.
single time that she flipped felt inaccurate to her momentum. Like, why? Like, I just don't understand why someone would jump forward and do a backflip. That seems counterintuitive.
But I think she was doing it to look cool. Like a lot of those, it just looked really cool.
I was looking at her like,
Listen, style points matter.
I'm going to press all these people on the ground.
It was actually a
builds
2-minute
confidence.
walk. If she had just walked over to Obi-Wan, it was like 2 minutes, but she was flipping so much and looking so cool that it actually took her like 10 minutes to get over there. But you know,
And
Right.
she was grunting and stuff. She's like, "Huh!"
Can you imagine just standing there watching that as she just does this random parkour shit all through the place? It's just like,
I'm a big fan of that character. I really liked her story. I feel like she could have been the main character, and I would love to see like a side story for just her. But that scene needed to go.
Let's just get the Reva stuff out of the way now. I will say, if this is a movie, that's the first thing you cut. That entire character. It has nothing to
what?
do with the actor or anything. Yeah, just focus on Leia, Vader, and Obi-Wan. If it's a movie and you got 2 hours, cut that character out. Like, let's be honest.
Interesting.
And I will say that by the end, obviously, the last 2 episodes of her, she's good. I think the writing is not great in the first 2, and I think her yelling is not good. And that's probably why the last 2 are the best, because she does zero yelling in those last 2 episodes. She's not just screaming and angry at people. She actually gets to emote and cry and feel things.
Yeah, those are good notes for her for sure.
Yeah, so I just like, I wasn't crazy at first. It didn't bother me until like I just kind of went back and watched it. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess that wasn't that great. But like, it's just a lot of Star Wars villains are just written poorly.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, that was the kind of thing too. We are all aware that Moses Ingram got a lot of flack for her character on this,
Right.
because of racism. We can't
Mhm.
pretend that it's anything else. A lot of people talked about her acting ability, whatever. One of my biggest takeaways from watching this show was it was not her that was phoning it home. Everybody was pretty rough, I think, in this outside of like
The,
Ewan
the,
McGregor.
the acting across the board was not great.
I'll disagree for a lot of characters.
I would say there's 3 characters I can think of that I think did really well, and then there's a lot
Right.
of characters that I think did okay, and I think there's a couple characters that did really poorly.
Right, yeah. Fair.
I'm like, I don't think anybody in the show deserves to be brutally vandalized or
Oh,
getting
no,
any
not at
death
all.
threats over
I would
any
not blame
performances.
a person
Right,
for their
no.
performance in these. I think it's a lot of it the writing. A lot of it's happening in the writing room.
Yeah, it's 100% the writing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, no one's trying to like add fuel to that shit fire of people, bad people when like, you know what I mean?
But it was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
funny
yeah.
to me because everyone's like, "Oh yeah, she's just such a bad actor and stuff." And it's like you're calling her a bad actor when literally the 2 other Inquisitors talk and look like fucking Power Rangers villains, and you're mad about this woman when there's a guy that
Yeah.
literally talks like this.
Mhm.
Sister, stop it! What is that? What are you doing, man? What is happening over there?
The hat dude just disappeared after episode 4.
Yeah, he's
and
out.
You just
He's
never was
out.
heard from again. Like that
I-
was
Good.
I really thought one of them was gonna die. I get Reva
Yeah.
was like attacked, and we thought she was gonna die, but she doesn't. But I really thought somebody, one of those Inquisitors, was gonna.
None of them
get
can
got.
die because they got to be in canon later on. We know they're alive. That's the problem.
That's
All
the
of
worst
them?
part about it. Yeah.
Like, not all,
All
of
of
them,
the ones that you see except for Reva, we've seen in Rebels, and that's after the show.
Oh,
And they're
okay.
alive.
I have not seen Rebels.
Yeah.
That's what to me was the funniest thing about Reva is like I really liked her character because she's the most Sith one of all you fuckers. Like the Inquisition were a bunch of like, hey, no brutalizing civilians,
Yeah,
no cutting
right.
hands off. Hey, Reva, calm it down,
Right.
right? We're Sith
Stop
warriors
being so
here,
angry and
okay?
yelling at people.
Jesus, like,
Get
come
your
on,
shit together.
it's like you're being really angry all the time or something. Like, she was the most Sith one of all of you, and you're trying to stamp her down, and like literally comically, like brought to a head when she has Obi-Wan cornered in that like port, and then the Inquisitor turns around, he's like, "I'll do with Obi-Wan," and they start bickering, in front of Obi-Wan, like while he's behind
Right.
the
And he
box.
gets- right
and he
there.
gets away,
It's like you have him cornered, and you're more concerned with who gets the credit, and like which is very Sith, I think. But like you have him cornered, and you're more concerned with putting Reva down. Like I was like, man, you
Yeah.
should stab him. Like fuck that
The
guy.
Inquisitor could have just like been like force pushed her away and gotten Obi-Wan. Like he didn't have to say anything, but he was like, "Here's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the kill. You're gonna watch." And then like, well, let's argue about this for a little bit. And Obi-Wan just like slips away. Like,
Meanwhile, Obi-Wan's just like
I
sneaking
will
away.
say, though,
my head out.
in defense of Reva, because she was a Jedi for so long, and much like Anakin, they were told to suppress their emotions. Once they go dark and they're allowed to be emotive, they're allowed to emote, they're awkward as fuck. It's a simple explanation
Yeah.
as to why they're
Yeah.
so weird when they emote.
True. Look no further than Hayden Christensen. I mean, awkward,
Exactly.
awkward dude.
He didn't know
All right.
how to emote when he was angry. Neither does Reva.
Mhm.
look, I get it.
Yeah.
Talking about your feelings is hard. I get it.
It was great. Every time they tell her to do something, Reva just turns around, and like does immediately what she was going to do anyway. Like Reva, go back to the ship. She's like, okay. Turns right around, is like, I'm going to go find Obi-Wan
Right.
immediately. Like he's like, Reva, strike two. I told you already. Go back to the ship. She's like, okay. Turns around, puts the bounty hunter call out. It's like,
Yeah, I
she
love
don't give
that.
a
I love
fuck.
that she was like a rebel within
Yeah.
the Empire, and I love the twist that she was really just trying to kill Vader. I thought that was super sinister. I felt like she's like, you know, what everyone wants Ahsoka to come out as, like a gray Jedi who's like really just bordering the lines of both and kind of doing her own thing. I think that's super cool.
It is
Yeah.
weird that she didn't have a chance to kill him in 10 years, though.
That's a
Like-
that's a long play you got going on there. That's a long game if I've ever seen
Well, I
one,
mean,
and it
how
still didn't
many
go well.
times do you think they've actually seen each other? I guess in the canon, like Vader is
I would
training each
imagine
of
a
these
lot.
people, right?
But that's also like a very common Sith thing. Like they're always backstabbing each other and like looking
Mhm.
for the
Oh,
opportunity.
You
to,
gotta
like,
wait for the right moment.
And she picked the wrong one.
yeah, he is the wrong one. But they're all kind of expecting it, I think, you know, backstabbing
Yeah.
or whatever. One fun fact about episode 2 is Tamara Morrison, that scene with him being that like the war vet,
Uh-huh.
very cool, I thought, by the way, a cool little moment there. But that was you might not like, this seems wrong, but that was the first time he ever wore like cloned armor,
The clone
like,
armor?
practical
Yeah.
effects ever. Like in
That's
all
pretty
the
cool.
stuff he's been in.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I just thought that was a cool little
Despite
aside.
having be the face of all of them. He's
Wait,
never
wait,
actually.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't he take his helmet off in one of the episodes? Is it a CG body?
Yeah, but he's Django fit.
Yeah.
You never see the clones with their helmets off in live action.
That's what I mean. I thought that happened at one point. No.
Like you do, but they're all CGI. Like they
Mm.
were all CGI in episode 2 and 3. And then like, but you've just never seen him in actually wearing like, you know, like real armor. So that's the first time he's ever done it.
Wow, that's pretty
That'd be
cool.
funny,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
I do have to point out, because Devin brought up the point where Reva stabs the Grand Inquisitor, which surprised he survived. We all knew that. Man, this show makes Qui-Gon Jinn look like a real bitch when it comes to getting stabbed in the stomach. Like everyone survives, and then this motherfucker's like,
Well,
nah,
it's because they
peace, I'm out,
survived off
deuces.
of hate. They survived. The bad people
It's
survived.
such
Literally,
bullshit.
Darth Maul survives off of hate. Both these Inquisitors survive off of hate. Like Darth
That's
Vader
true.
survives off of hate.
That's
like
true.
none of the good guys survive.
Qui-Gon just had too much love.
Right.
He had too much love.
It's just so funny.
All the good guys that get smacked are dead. They
Yeah.
they don't hate anybody.
Yeah,
Like
there's a good lesson from this, I think, to be learned. here.
Yoda dies.
Yeah,
and
so if
nobody
you're
even hits
Sith,
him.
you go for the head. That's the lesson.
No one even
Yoda
hit
dies because he loves so hard.
Yeah.
Yoda loves way too much, and he dies. He's like, I love.
It's that,
can't
and then
go
don't walk
on.
away from someone you think is dead.
No, children out there, if you're going to learn one thing from Star Wars, the power of hatred will keep you alive. So that's the main moral
Put
of the
that
story
on a
here, I
shirt.
guess.
The power
Ah,
of hate.
that's just not wrong.
I think we're onto something here.
Yeah.
We should hate more things.
Children, you can literally get cut in half and it'll be okay as long as you hate somebody enough.
He didn't only get cut in half, he also fell down a well like 3,000 feet.
Like
had
he
to
should have been
smash
a
everything
puddle
up,
at the bottom of that.
and then made himself spider
People
like.
don't talk about that enough. Like that was a long
Right.
tube.
Let's talk about that. Is this a missed opportunity? I was honestly hoping that we would see Maul. I'm not surprised that we didn't, but I am bummed.
I'm not surprised because spoilers, they tackle that storyline in Rebels as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it would have been cool to see it live action, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
but like, when has Star Wars ever doubled down on a story like that? You know what I mean?
I that's a good point.
There are also rumors that spoilers, I guess not really, that there's gonna be a Fallen Order series coming, or with that character with Cal
Ooh.
Kestis series coming.
Mm.
But I doubt it's
I
gonna
did
be
hear
that
that,
game
yeah.
again because it's like they've told
Already
that
seen
story.
it,
They're,
right.
you know what I mean?
That would be cool.
I feel like if they do a game, it will be more or less the same. Just I'm gonna say worse because I feel like
Yeah.
game stories are just so unique.
That's a superior medium, I feel like, of telling that kind of story.
We'll see.
But you know, Alex, that's not a bad idea for season 2. Maybe have Darth Vader versus Darth Maul. That'd be a cool thing for season 2.
I
They
just
could
think that was a really
probably
cool
make it
character
make
that
sense.
got wasted, honestly. And I mean, it got put in the whatever the comics and the Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff, but he's still just having him in live action and having literally a dude that was a martial artist to do all these stuff for him to do 8
Mhm.
flips and then get cut in half was really disappointing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Since we're talking about people getting stabbed, let's talk about that Darth Vader Ryu fight because that fight was fucking amazing.
Oh my
Vader, no
gosh.
lightsaber, fucking kung fuing her ass with the Force was amazing.
Oh yes,
This
yeah.
was
That was
the
pretty
best form
sick.
of Vader we've seen so far. We've read and heard
Mhm.
so many things about how strong Darth Vader is. This show finally got to show us something. We got to
Mhm.
see the man move. Well, Darth Vader sucks at moving in every other property he's been in, but in this one, he actually gets to swing a little bit.
I mean, you could argue that he was still pretty stiff in this, but I read
Yeah, for
something that
sure.
was saying that that Palpatine, the Emperor, purposefully made his suit constricting and laggy
Oh, that's so
and
fucking
not
funny.
full mobility as a punishment for losing against Obi-Wan. That's in
Oh
Damn.
my god.
one of the comics or something. Like he did that on
I'm not. I
purpose.
wouldn't be surprised. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, I
Yeah.
would assume he also does that so that Vader doesn't kill him behind his back at any
Right.
point.
Probably. And you totally get that whole like fear complex between
Mhm.
you know the rule of two, that whoever's on top, they have to
Yeah.
rule by fear in the very last episode.
Yeah,
when
the
he's
little
like,
Palpatine cameo.
yeah, that was a super cool cameo. But I was like, I remember leaving that scene and I was like, oh my god, like Palpatine is really fucking scary.
It's very also
Yeah.
like open ended in the sense that they could easily, if they make a season 2 of this, be like,
Yeah,
yeah, Vader was lying to Palpatine when he did that. He still wants to kill Obi-Wan. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they could
Yeah,
also
for
say
sure.
like 10 years went by and he stopped chasing him because of this scene. You know?
it was a really
Right.
cool scene.
I just think if they do a season 2, I just don't even think they'll meet. But for
I don't
me,
think
like
they can. Yeah.
that whole scene with Riva before that, even in like the last episode, everything, it feels like most Star Wars properties have always kept the power of the Jedi and the Sith very grounded. Like you can jump a little higher, you can do a little, you can block blaster bolts. You're not quite a superhero. You're just kind of like an enhanced human that can do like some pretty impressive things, but you can't do like the power levels here in this show got crazy. Like this was like Force Unleashed.
It was
Basically, the
great.
closest we've ever seen.
Yeah, they brought down Vader brought down the spaceship, albeit it wasn't
Yep.
a Star Destroyer. That was pretty fucking cool.
And he that tears it apart. Ugh.
Yeah, rips it apart, and then Obi-Wan launching all those rocks at him with his arms open like fucking Jesus
Full
Christ. That was pretty
earthbender,
amazing.
bro.
Like that was when they had that shot of Obi-Wan and he's holding like 30 rocks in the air. It's like this is way more than he's ever done before.
This is
Like,
Right.
like you haven't seen anything like that other than the video
No.
games.
Yeah.
Right.
I
That was pretty
loved
cool.
it. I was so
Yeah,
like that.
that was amazing.
That was amazing. And like at that point, like we're talking about that last fight, there's so many callbacks to him doing the 2-finger pose, to saying the lines from
Oh,
Revenge of the Sith, like I will do what I must, and like
Oh, that was so great.
so good. And then you see him, he's like, because the first time they meet, he's getting his ass kicked. Second time, he's full aggression, flips with the lightsaber. He's going behind the back. He's doing
Behind the
everything
back,
again.
yeah,
Like
I feel like those were very like Anakin moves. I feel like he was like taunting.
yeah.
Like, you're Darth Vader now. Like you can't do this shit, but watch me, bro. Watch
You can't do this
shit.
With your no leg, no
You
leg
wish you
having
could do
ass.
this.
You can't do nothing.
Remember when you could do this move? Yeah, I got
It's
you.
sad because like at one point, and this must be like a thing to this or the prequels, I felt bad for Vader when that James Earl Jones voice, when he screams and he gets hit in the back, he's like, ah, like I started to feel bad. I was like, this shit's working. And then he cuts the mask off and you see it, like, which we all kind of knew that there would be a half Hayden, half Vader mask moment like in Rebels. That's happened. And then the half Vader, half James Earl Jones or half Hayden voice was great.
That
And
was
that's
pretty great.
where I struggle with the story of Star Wars, because Star Wars can have such amazing story beats and then such lousy ones. And the story of Anakin Skywalker and his fall from grace is such an amazing tragedy that exists.
Mhm.
And that's like such a cool thing to like play with that hadn't really been done that much outside of like Shakespearean stuff. So to have that fall from
Wow,
grace
it's so
and then, like,
true.
be able to
Like
show that
the Star Wars is Shakespeare in space.
yeah, it's very much
Well,
a space
yeah.
opera for sure, very archetypal.
I'm sure that's been observed before, but I just making that connection anyway.
The one thing that George Lucas loved, it was stealing. That was his favorite thing.
Lucas based A New Hope on the hero's journey, which is like that typical myth across every culture, where it's like, young man meets a teacher, teacher dies, rescues the person, whatever, has to test them. It's like a common thread. Like there's like different versions of it in every culture around the world. And A New Hope was literally just a space opera that put that into a movie. Like that's, so yeah, I mean,
there's
it's very typical.
So many classes in film school that are like this Star Wars is the formula for screenwriting. Like usually my other screenplays like switch it up a little bit, but Star Wars is just textbook.
Yeah. But no, like that was so like an emotional grabbing part, and I just really love that so much. And then they turn around and do something really awful at the end of this fight that once again just makes this show feel like they weren't trying to make a cohesive story. They weren't trying to be coherent with anything, because this is the second time that Obi-Wan is going to leave this man when you know that man's not dead. The first time makes sense. The man was getting literally burned alive with no appendages. I think it's pretty safe to say that, you probably would die from that. I can understand making that mistake. I would have done it as well, probably. But this one is just like, you Obi-Wan, this is your fault. All the rest of the things that happen in the rest of the movies is because of your dumb ass, and you can't finish what you started. What is the point? What are you doing, man?
So I was pretty upset when I first watched that scene, because just before then he was having a monologue with Qui-Gon when he was meditating. He was like, okay, this is it. Like, it's me or him. Like, one of us is going to die. I'm like, all right, bet. Like, he's gonna try to kill Vader, and then he beats him up and then leaves like Goku style. Like, I'm gonna just leave you. I know you're gonna survive.
Come back
but,
when
like,
you get stronger.
Yeah, and I was like, why? Like, why would you do this? Like, you just talked about trying to kill him, and then by the time it finishes, when he's talking to Reva, is like, okay, you didn't, like, Reva, you didn't kill Luke as a youngling. Like, you're not Anakin. Like, you're not bad. Like, you sacrificed him, and you showed all the Jedi before you, like, a redemption or grace, or I don't know. You've done something good, and it kind of made me feel a little bit better. It was like, okay, he's at peace with himself. He knows that he didn't let Anakin down. That Anakin admits, like, I did this to myself.
I also think that goes into Anakin saying that because he's such a petty bitch that he even his own death he doesn't want to give Obi-Wan credit for, I think. Because this whole series basically shows how much of a petty bitch Vader is when he's earlier force choking people, snapping necks, dragging a woman through the street for no fucking reason. Like, he's a petty bitch this whole series.
Yeah, but it also does fix that line from I think Return of the Jedi, when like Luke confronts Obi-Wan about it, and he's like, well, you told me Vader killed my father. You didn't tell me he was my father. And he's like, well, I mean, Vader told me he killed your father, so really I didn't lie.
I just got it from the source, man. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
I'm just as confused as you are.
But like the way he left him both times, like, first of all, like the second time, absolutely his fault. Like, you have if he's literally sitting there telling you, I'm not your friend anymore, like, you should try to kill me, and you just beat his ass, like, you should kill him because he's a dangerous threat to the galaxy.
They both do it, though. Vader literally does it earlier in that scene when he throws him into the rocks, and he just leaves too. They're both doing it.
Yeah, and when in episode 3 when he doesn't chase after him in the fire, which he clearly could have done. He could have put the fire out with the Force. Apparently, he's a firebender, which is super cool. But like, why not chase after him when he's said multiple times, all I care about is Obi-Wan. But this time, I'll let him get away, even though I have no idea where he's gonna go.
Like like Obi-Wan in episode 3, though, I never really thought about how fucked up that was. That he just left him, like, he left Anakin to just burn a little bit, and he literally goes up beside him and takes his lightsaber, like, somebody might need this. And he just watches his friend slowly die. Like, you don't deal him the mercy blow. He's like, nah, I'm gonna let you sit here and cook for a few hours.
I'm gonna let you think about what you've done.
It's like, I don't want your death on my conscience. So
you know what, buddy? Die slowly. For all the good times. He talked
so hard about mercy, but the mercy thing would have been putting him out of his fucking misery. Like, if there's like a rat that's caught in like a rat trap and it's still alive, you don't just let it sit there and squirm and die in the rat trap. What are you doing? What's happening there? I don't know. That made me super.
What do you do in that situation, Brian?
You gotta stump it out. If you see roadkill on this thing, that's a mercy blow, man. You can't let them suffer.
Now, I live in New York City, and mice are a thing. And if I catch a mouse, I'm not gonna stomp it out after I catch it. I'm gonna go to sleep and deal with it in the morning. Fuck that shit. I'm not stepping on a
You
mouse.
just
You
hear
crazy?
little screams in the bathroom or something, and you just try to go to sleep.
Like
Poor
sounds
guy.
like we caught something. I'm gonna wait several hours and then go check. I'm not stepping on a mouse who's half dead.
Oh,
No
man. But
way.
that's supposed to be the thing when an animal is like really hurt or something, you know it's not gonna live and it's suffering. You're supposed to put
I'm
it out
not
of
gonna
its misery.
dirty my boots for that.
I mean,
Right, that's what
maybe if I'm a police officer and it's a deer in the road or something, but a mouse.
Alice just looks at the deer and he's like, pathetic. Get out of my face. You're not worthy of
No.
me.
Alex walks away like Vader, and then that mice comes back to get him later. 10
what I'm
years
saying.
later.
I'm
It's
gonna
a
have
mouse's
nightmares.
villain origin story. It's because of
Oh
you.
please! Oh god, no! That's the last thing I fucking need. A mouse with force powers.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was one of those things where I just don't think that the show cared enough about character and like logic of characters and just want to do too many things about what should happen next. They're
Yeah,
moving the plot
that's
along
fair.
with weird things and not as much with character development. And that
I will
felt
say, like, the one thing out of the show that it did give me was that Leia Obi-Wan relationship. Like,
Yes.
out of anything, that is the one that you can continue on to the movies.
That's
Whereas
a good
everything else is
takeaway.
basically the same status quo as it was before.
Yeah, you don't.
Besides that.
There's no real takeaway other than their relationship. That's a really good. That's a really good takeaway.
I will say before we finish this up a little bit, I wanted to shout out Indira Varma, who plays Tala, because she, I thought, was so fucking good in this, and her
She was
death
solid.
was probably one of the most emotional moments in the show for me. It all just kind of landed well. Her droid protecting her in the last moment was great. Her saying, "May the Force be with you," as Obi-Wan's like slaughtering stormtroopers one by one trying to get to her. He like literally impales a dude. Like that moment worked for me, and I was sad to see her go because I would love to have seen a spin-off with her
totally.
out of anyone in the show.
Maybe we'll see like a prequel, something of her like in the
I want to see
Empire
her with
turning.
Mando because they were husband and wife or whatever in Game of Thrones.
Also, like the way she went out, it's like, dude, grenades are just so OP in the Star Wars universe. Like everybody's just petrified of a grenade. Like
I have a beam of light
It's
as
a
a
thermal
sword.
detonator, dude. That sounds awful. You kidding me?
it's like a tactical nuke.
I don't know, man. In Jedi Academy, them shits were kind of weak. I used to be throwing them shits all over the place and
They
they
don't
didn't
do
kill
shit
nobody.
in Battlefront.
I'm surprising that all the stormtroopers don't just have one, but they can't shoot for shit, so I would not give them grenades.
No, absolutely not. Everyone's
Sure,
dying
sure.
if they get grenades.
And then I guess last thing, real quick, Qui-Gon cameo. I loved it. It was dope. Great.
Mhm.
Way to end the
Yay.
show.
Liam Neeson looks
Mhm.
cool as fuck with his hairstyle with that long hair. I'm not gonna lie.
He looks the same, dude.
He looks it's really
he looks
weird.
the same.
For 20 years, he looks
Still
exactly the
super
same.
Yeah, he
cool.
looked very similar to me.
You know what I would love to see? After the credits rolled and we saw that last cameo, I was like, I am so ready for a road buddy movie of
Yes.
Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon where they're just walking around in the desert. They don't have to
Doing some
fight
training.
anybody. It can just be like a buddy comedy when they're just like shooting the shit.
Mhm.
Qui-Gon's making fun of Obi-Wan for not killing Darth Vader or doing this or that.
That is, I do wish they had at least one conversation. If I could ask for anything from his cameo, just talk about Anakin for one conversation
Yeah,
to be
get
like,
some closure there.
yeah.
Because like he'd be like, "You kind of fucked up, man. You were not as good of a teacher as I was."
my prodigy over there.
I'm blaming Qui-Gon. Honestly, this is more of his fault than his Obi-Wan.
That's true.
Because
He
he
said,
died.
"Yeah, go
True.
ahead and train this child. I'm gonna die." So that
Right.
man pulled up, said, "Let me take this kid out of slavery, roll up with him for a little bit, fucking die." In the same movie, kid didn't even turn
Mhm.
9 by the time that happened. Dipped out, left me responsibility. I was still a Jedi. Was I even a Jedi Knight at that point? And then you just make me raise this child and try to make him a fucking protege.
And then he
Oh.
comes back as a Force Ghost with an attitude, being like, "Took you long enough." Like, motherfucker, you didn't
you
do
died
shit.
doing nothing.
Well, in Qui-Gon's defense, he wasn't wrong. Anakin was the chosen one. He did give birth to Luke, arguably the strongest, although we haven't quite necessarily seen it, but canonly the strongest Jedi in history.
Mhm.
And Anakin still is the one to bring the end to the Sith. He kills Emperor Palpatine. Granted,
Well, until
he
them
kills,
sequels came
he
out.
kills like thousands of innocent lives in the like beforehand, and he becomes like super evil, kills a bunch of little babies. But you know, he gets around to it. He just got a lot of other evil things
he
to do
gets
first.
around to.
He gets around to it though.
Yeah, his
yeah.
own side quest.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, he was just too impatient when he was fighting Darth Maul. If he had just waited behind that gate for Obi-Wan to catch up, and then they
It's
both
true.
kept on it together, I mean, we're probably not having this conversation right now.
That's true. Yeah, I love how strong Obi-Wan is in the show, and I love that he just has Vader's number. He's just got him
Mhm.
every round. He can't be beat.
Real quick though, that the Qui-Gon thing made me think about this, and I'd never had thought about this before in Star Wars, but it's like a glaring thing. And maybe it's because, because of what they said, like, Obi-Wan, you weren't ready to see me, right? So maybe that's why this doesn't happen more often. But it's like, how many issues in Star Wars could just be solved with a simple conversation with X, Y, and Z Force Ghost?
yeah.
Like, if Anakin Skywalker could sit down with Kylo Ren and be like, listen, man, you need to chill the fuck out. Okay, you're having some alt-right tendencies. I need you to chill out. I need you to culture yourself. I made the mistakes. Don't make those same mistakes I did. And you're a Force Ghost. You can pop up. You can pop up anytime. You can keep them awake. You can literally call them.
He's pooping right now, and I'm just gonna pop up. What's up, bro?
Yeah,
You can't leave this time.
That's the thing. You can pop up, but it's up to the receiver to be open. Qui-Gon was there the whole time.
I guess that's what
This is why being a Force. This is why the line in A New Hope, when Obi-Wan says, "I will become more powerful." Being a Force Ghost is not as powerful. I don't care what you say. It's dumb.
It's not that great. It's not that great.
One person exists. You don't. I think you win by existing. That's better.
Can a Force Ghost drop 30 rocks on your ass? I don't think so.
I think what Obi-Wan meant in that, like, it's a fact. Yes, like, Force Ghosts aren't that powerful, but the living Force is what's the more powerful thing. And when he dies, it gives the Force way to make Luke the more powerful being. When Qui-Gon dies, it gives Obi-Wan and Anakin the more powerful light side Force, albeit it like tips the balances. But that's true.
I want my life.
Qui-Gon died on purpose. Like, he let himself die. Obi-Wan dies on purpose. He let himself die to give way to the next underling.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man. Like, let's see one movie where it's just Darth Vader goes to therapy, and it's just him talking to the Force Ghost of Qui-Gon.
I would be down for season 2. It can be animated where it's a comedy. Darth Vader's in therapy. Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are shooting the shit, walking through the desert, trading with the Jawas. Right. I don't know what else is happening, but like, that would be hilarious.
Yeah,
dude, that would be great. Like, all the dead, like, Sith and Jedi just kind of going around the worlds all together, and like Blue just kind of like, you fucked that one up, didn't you, Anakin? Like, stuff like that. Like,
last thing, I know, I swear, for me at least, because we have to acknowledge the redemption of Hayden Christensen in this, because I think he's actually genuinely super great. Even in those flashbacks, he's fantastic, and I was like, good for him. That's been it.
Yeah,
man, aged gracefully. He just looks sleepier.
Yeah. He's got a lot of kids now, man. He's got a lot of kids. He got like 4 kids.
40, yeah.
Oh wow, holy shit! I love that scene where they were sparring together. But I am wondering why the hell they don't use like sticks or some kind of like non-lethal method of sparring.
That's what I'm saying.
What if there was an accident? Like, you could die.
I mean, they're all used to getting their limbs chopped off and whatever, losing hands every day.
God.
Oh, just went bad on Friday with my master. I just got my hand cut off.
Right. I'm on my third robot hand over here, actually.
That's like if you saw like a couple of like I don't know, like military people or police officers or the CIA agents like sparring with like pistols, and they're just shooting each other. Like,
they're just shooting.
That doesn't happen.
Live rounds only, boys. Live rounds only.
You don't do that.
No.
The stats are not good for the teacher Padawan in the Jedi Order. There's been some fatalities there. We just don't talk about.
There are no mistakes in the Force. They were meant to die.
Oh, word.
All right, Devin, tell us the Obi-Wan Kenobi dumb name fun fact that we all kind of recently discovered.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I always knew this.
He goes through all these lengths to, like, hide out in the desert. Like, I gotta, like, the Empire's after me. I can't let anybody know who I am. I gotta protect Luke. I gotta hide away. So I'm just gonna change my first name. Like, like the Empire's looking for him. Like, you guys know anybody here on this planet like named Obi-Wan? They're like, Obi-Wan Kenobi? We're like, well, we know Ben Kenobi. It's like, nah, that's not him. Like, that's definitely not him.
No relation.
No relation.
Oh, my name's not Luke Skywalker.
It's like he just ran out of paper or something, like, for making an alias. It's like, well, or like he was filling something out and he just by mistake put his last name. He's like, oh shit, I was supposed to do a different name, but it's too late. I got to inform him. Like, you're supposed to do a different last name. Ah, fuck.
That is definitely not the story I thought you were going to tell. I thought you were going to talk about the fact that he's got Obi in his name twice, because that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
True.
Kenobi.
True.
Obi Kenobi.
His name's Obi Kenobi.
Obi Kenobi.
The last 3 letters of Kenobi are Obi.
Obi Kenobi?
We just blew this man's mind.
I'm struggling to process. I think I need to see that written down. I can't really process things
Obi
without being a visual. I'm a visual learner.
K-E-N-O-B-I.
It's like George, man. You were great writing. Good job. All right. I guess my last final take is I like the show, obviously, from what we heard. I liked it. And also, it's okay if you didn't. And also, if you didn't, maybe you'll like the next one because you're gonna get Star Wars for the rest of your fucking life. And at this point, it's just coming out every 3 months. So
True.
there you go.
I really, my big takeaway is I really hope that, because obviously this is the most like lightsabery things we've seen in the show, Star Wars show.
Mhm.
I'm really hopeful, well, not hopeful, but I hope that Ahsoka has great like stunts and lightsaber stuff.
Choreography, stuff like that.
Yeah, choreography.
Good,
I feel like
should.
the choreography and like their sparring match was really great. I think the choreography in their last duel was pretty good. But all like the
Yeah.
stunts leading up to
Yeah,
it were like
agreed.
really lackluster. I had fun watching it regardless. The overall story I feel like of Star Wars is always going to be good. It's just the minute to minute dialogue and bits and pieces that are really clunky and hard to get through. But
Mhm.
I'm gonna enjoy whatever they put at me. I'm excited for what's the next show that's coming out? The
Andor. The
Andor,
Rogue One
yeah.
spinoff.
I'm excited
That's
for
gonna.
that.
I feel like that's gonna be a little bit different because they're not relying on the LCD
I think it's gonna
screen
look
backgrounds.
better. Yeah.
Please go dark. Please go dark. Do not make this show for kids. Like, let's go dark.
I don't
I'm
know.
excited.
100%. You guys, y'all know how I feel about it from the beginning. I think it's very much
Yeah.
okay. But
Yeah,
I still love
it's
Star
pretty
Wars.
clear.
Real quick, just let me mention a theme of this show real quick. Just two things, okay? The goofy barriers of entry that people couldn't possibly find their ways around. One, that bush when they abduct
Yeah.
Leia, couldn't get around the bush.
The fire.
Two, the gate in the Blazing Saddles gate in episode 3, where it's a gate where they could just drive around the gate in the middle of the desert in the road on that.
The
On
gate
that
blocked
planet.
1 metric meter of actual road, and then you could have just walked around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in that same episode later, when they make that little ring of fire between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, it's like you literally can walk around right there. Like the squadron of stormtroopers, you can just walk around right there and get over.
It was very video game the movie where there's invisible
He's like
walls.
Frankenstein, though.
Right.
He
You just
doesn't
can't
like
do that.
unexpected fire. He's okay if he
Yeah.
produced the fire, but unexpected fire reminds him of Mustafar and burning alive.
Plus, they all had guns too, so it's like, oh, what are we gonna do? It's like fucking shoot him.
Yeah.
Pew, pew.
And also just that comical thing where they're getting Leia out of the thing, and he's Obi-Wan just has her under the trench coat. It's like your friend sneaking into the movie theater.
The
It's like,
Empire
what the
is
fuck?
bad at their jobs. We know this. They'll always be bad at it forever.
Just put her in a box, dude. We couldn't have put her in a
Put her
box,
in a box.
like a chef's
Yeah.
cart to get her out to the ship. I don't know.
All
Anyway,
right. Well, that's it. That's Obi-Wan. Check it out if you do. If not, that's also cool. Shall we now move on to our final segment of the week, guys?
Let's do it.
Let's
which
do it.
we like to
Oh,
call
yeah.
Free for All, title pending. This is a segment, listeners, where we can kind of do whatever we want. We can recommend something, we can rant, we can take a nap, we can do whatever we desire. It's free for all. I'll go first because I'm still backlogging some free for alls that I've stored up in the past couple weeks. So
Well, you've been storing them up.
yeah. I finally watched the first season of Invincible on Amazon. I enjoyed it. But I wasn't super crazy about it, and I think it might be because I had right before it had watched and caught up on the first 2 seasons of The Boys in anticipation of season 3, and I might have just been kind of tired of that shtick, if you could call it that.
Over the
Yeah,
top.
I totally agree with you. I haven't seen either of them yet, but if I were to watch one of them, because I don't think I can do both.
I'd watch The Boys.
Boys.
Personally.
It's
Watch The
more
Boys,
fleshed
yeah.
out already by now. I think they're
Yeah.
both good shows. I do think it's kind of a similar thing that happened with like Last of Us and Tomb Raider. Playing those so closely together made Tomb Raider not feel as good as it could have been because The Last of Us was so good.
So
I think
true.
the same thing with that show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it looks good. It's got a pretty simple art style, and there's like very much like a Dragon Ball aesthetic where it's like they'll just take 2 characters and just make them stand there and just move their mouths to save some time on a budget.
Yeah.
But there are
Don't you dare
definitely
insult Dragon Ball like that.
amazing scenes of action in it as well, and it
Mhm.
can surprise you. But I think it just didn't quite surprise me as much as I thought it would.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, check it out.
Well, I'll go next. My thing is more music, which is fun. A rare topic for us, but yeah, I have recently been listening to this new artist that my brother actually introduced me to. He shared an album with me, which is by a band / group called Sparrow Sleeps. It's a cover band that only does cover remakes
Oh,
of like popular like late 90s, early 2000s punk or screamo metal bands, but does them in the style of like chill, sleepy lullabies for your kids. And it is the most fun I have had in a while. And me and my wife were just like, as you guys might know, I just had our first baby. Cleo, she's a month and 3 days old now, month and 2 days old. So we were just listening to like different lullaby stuff and different like relaxing lo-fi things or like jazz records, and we sing a lot of lullabies to her. And my brother just texted me this like album. One of my favorite bands in high school, middle school was Under Oath. So he texted me this album. It's like, a cover of all the best Under Oath songs, but they're lullabies. And I was like, stop everything. I did a little bit more digging in, and this band, Sparrow Sleeps, that did the cover, has like literally thousands of albums. They've done amazing covers for Avril Lavigne, Green Day, fucking.
What's the one you sent us? Paramore?
Yeah,
Paramore. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to find the other ones. My Chemical Romance. So many Blink-182. So many bands. So we were just listening to all of them on shuffle and trying to guess, like, what song is this? It was great. Great times.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
I listened to the Paramore one. That was great.
Yeah. It was a bop. It felt like some old school Kingdom Hearts music up in there. I was in a town or something.
That is definitely like music you need to play for Cleo at some point, is just the Kingdom Hearts soundtrack.
I actually listen to a lot of Kingdom Hearts soundtrack. I listen to a lot of video game soundtracks, but Kingdom Hearts is one that I always come back to. There's a lot of great like video game soundtracks and video game covers. But yeah that one's timeless.
Hell yeah, brother.
I mean, real quick, because it was attached to that, I do love that I think they just now made a Grammy that's going to be video game soundtrack or something like that.
Oh,
so
yeah?
Shout out to that.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty dope.
Nice. Anywho, I actually wanted to talk about an album that I listened to as well. Are you guys familiar with this? He's not very well known. I believe people call him Wheelchair Jimmy. Drake. They're talking about Drake.
Wheelchair Jimmy.
Y'all don't remember? Nobody watched Degrassi, the best show on earth.
Oh my god.
Yeah, your favorite artist was shot at a school shooting in Canada.
Everybody knows this.
Yes.
Do they know at this point? I don't know. Anywho,
except for my grandparents, but they probably know too, actually.
So I decided I'm not a big Drake fan. I think he's made decent kind of music. He's the kind of artist that puts out music every year, so that has its own kind of stake in it anyway. But he took a weird, different take with this new album. I forget what it's called. I'm not even going to tell you what the name of it is, but it's his most recent album. And he's gone very housey with it, which is an interesting thing, because Drake hasn't been known to like change up his style too much recently. He's been kind of like sticking to his guns, which, I mean, I'm not mad at anybody for doing that. If it works, if it makes you money, feels good to you, why not? He took a little bit of an interesting turn here. So I don't like it at all. I don't think it's not really my jam. I like house music.
I listened to 2 songs and I was like, I can't.
It's something about it just felt. There was one song that has like bed creaking in it through the entire song, and that was.
I think that's where I stopped.
That was pain to my ears. Like I was driving my dad around today, and I started hearing that song, and I was like, this has to go. I am done with this album, and I will not listen further. Thank you.
It's such a bummer. I feel like there was like no press around the release before this came out, and I generally like at least like a quarter of his songs on all of his other albums, but this one I feel like, I mean, I haven't listened to all of them yet, but I feel like there's not a lot of things that I'm gonna enjoy.
Right, and that's the thing, is I'm kind of like, I'm not on the fence about the album. I feel like I probably won't like the album, but I am on the fence about how I feel about it, because even if this isn't a hit, or if this isn't something that is going to be well perceived or well liked by the masses, I do like when artists take a chance. I don't love a lot of Kanye's new stuff, but he does a lot of the same thing where he'll just do something really off the wall different. And I kind of appreciate that. Take risks, even if it doesn't work out. Like if this album sucks and it doesn't do well and you don't make a lot of money, you can always make another. Turns out the brain can just keep doing things. It's crazy how that works. Making new songs. I don't know. So I was just like, okay, that's cool that you tried. You failed.
Right.
But yeah. You tried. More power to you, Drizzy. Do your thing, man.
Is all of his songs like that?
Man, that was like 8 albums ago, man. Catch up.
Yeah, I think that's the last Drake album I listened to.
Well, anyway, I will just quickly say that Brian's free for all last week was that he was not enjoying episode 3 of The Boys, and I am all caught up, and I am really very much enjoying this episode, this season of The Boys. One caveat: they need to do something with Homelander. It's got to either be, he's got to die, or they got to take his powers or something. But either
It
way,
might be.
they cannot keep this going any longer. Like the
Yeah.
dynamic for the whole time has just been the toxicity of the Superman kind of parody. And
I mean,
just
they already got renewed for a season 4, so who knows?
Yeah, but they need to switch this up.
I didn't read the graphic novel, so I don't know how long this like ran. If it's like a
I
lengthy
don't- I'm
kind
not
of
sure.
comic or something.
Right.
So I don't know.
I
what
feel like
happened.
it's only like 80 issues, but I could be making that up. That might be Invincible. I can't remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Now they're all mixed
But I'm
together.
not really getting tired of like The Boys, kind of like, just like let's show a superhero doing this fucked up thing. I've really I think they've really gone over the top this season of that kind of stuff. But the one dynamic that is tiring me out is just that he's so overpowered, nobody can challenge him. It's
But I
just
will
like,
say
it
this
needs
most
to
recent
end.
episode was one of the highlights, I will
Yes.
admit.
Yes.
Yeah.
This brought me back in for sure. I wasn't super
Mhm.
sold over the
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
few, but then this one I was like, okay, I'm back. I'm here. I like it.
Yeah.
I gotta check it out.
But I'm enjoying it. So yeah, we'll see how it ends.
Yeah, I would say give it a chance. It might grind you the wrong way in the beginning, but I think once you get used to the South Parkiness of it just being like it's grotesque sometimes for the sake of being grotesque, I think you'll find there's a lot of
Yeah.
good bones there.
Yeah.
Or no bones,
Or
because
no-
everyone's just a pile of goo.
Yeah, some people don't have bones anymore.
No
I'm not
bones.
sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
True.
Nice. That's the show, everyone. You can email us at thefortressof@gmail.com, Fortress spelled F-O-U-R. Feel free to email us any questions or feedback, recommendations, or anything about that. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube channel at The Fortress of. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. Rate and view us whichever you want, preferably 5 stars, but also whatever you want. You can find Alex, thank you, at Peterson Films, Peterson SEN. You can find Brian
Hello.
at ITZ_ by the way. And Devin, you can find him
On the street corner
full
somewhere.
of hate with a lightsaber in his gut at the bottom of a pit.
He survives. Plot twist.
And again, thank you, Brian, for the art. Thank you, Alex, for the music. Devin, thank you for being here as usual. And thank you, Jackie, for helping edit the podcast every week. Happy holidays, everyone. And put a quote on his quote out there.
May the force be with you. This is the
May
way.
the fourth. Yes. Ooh.
Hello there.
R.I.P.
Goodbye there.
Tella.
Hello there.
R.I.P.
Goodbye. There we go.
I hate you.
All right, everyone. We'll see you here next week in another episode of The Fortress of.
Oh God, I don't know what's going on. So laggy. Use the force, everybody. Use the force and my internet might get better. Oh, it's getting worse.